Hubertus, you have the floor, please.
Tunne, thank you very much. It's good to be here with you and with friends, and congratulations what you have reached the last 30 years. We have heard some statements. Allow me just to add 6-7 minutes, not more, on some thoughts of Europe. And I'm independent, so allow me to speak openly some ideas about what should be done. And let me start with not a favorite of Tunne, but I think we can learn even from the worst enemy sometimes. And I mean Mr. Lenin. The debate in Europe reminds me to the debate he had all the time in the Politburo with Joseph Stalin and others. Everybody complained, this is not working, this is not working, this is not working. We have a problem there and we have another problem somewhere else. At the end, it is a famous quote. He always said, I don't speak Russian, what to do. We focus 99% on analyzing and hopefully 1% on action. I'm a businessman, and if you see, we have metaphors. Hans-Gerd said we are a family. Let me put it, I see it like a big company. We had large shares in Volkswagen, ThyssenKrupp, and Lanxess and Siemens and so on. It's always the same. You have managers, and I'm focusing on action. So I have an entrepreneurial view on it. We need concrete plans, not talk. I listen to the talk, I like the talk, but we cannot talk. We are not a talk show, but we have to do something. We need not just work, concrete plans and actions now. We wasted sometimes too much time. And the EU needs 3 things. I would put them on top priority. It's called creativity plus creativity plus creativity. And this means we are in a globalized, speedy world. If we don't have creativity and creativity and creativity, we will lose. We cannot stick only to the good old times in the past. This reminds me to companies, like my Löwe small TV set manufacturer company. It stick to the past, but if you don't get into the future, you get lost very quickly. That's one lesson of globalization. The West knows perfectly as well how to market iPhones and Porsche and all these nice little gimmick stuffs. But we are miles and light years away to market our policy, including the EU. That had been debate forever, but I think we should. I have not seen any real market approach on the EU, what's the priority and so on. I have not seen it. We are dominated by unimaginable administrative policy focusing on crisis management. I am not a fan at all on Angela Merkel. Let's see to the next corner. It's like a ship on site. Next corner, next corner, next corner, next corner. At the end, we circle. I'm not pleased. We lost too much time in crisis. This has to be improved. I know it's not easy. It's easier to demand than to do it. We have to go from analyzing to action. And we have a highly regarded form and style, but the substance and result is still too poor for me, if I would see it from outside. We have several institutes and large conventions, but they offer almost no creative solutions. If you don't have creative solutions in this globalized world, you lose. You are defined to lose. So my statement is to find a fundamental reorientation, shifting the focus on creative actions and comprehensive planning. And this I call Europe 3.0. And we can learn from genius Albert Einstein. His favorite quote he used all the time when he was thinking something fresh and new, like Schumani in politics, he did it in other things. He was very political, by the way. He always said, imagination is more important than knowledge. We cannot just recycle our knowledge and the grand golden days of Europe. We have to imagine the next 50 years. They will be different. And then, this is a real quote, he was not thinking of Europe, but it perfectly fits. We cannot solve problems, Albert Einstein said, by using the same level of thinking we used when we created them. This is the real danger we face now, that we don't reform, we go with the same tools, the same organization, which got us into the problems. I just want to mention some few ideas for discussions. It's not the perfect, if someone else has 5 minutes later, the better idea should prevail. The main problem, I even don't see it, there are many problems like budget problems, crisis problems, and so on, the spiritual problems. But my main issue is, like in companies, the EU, but as well the national bureaucracies. This is something which is not even addressed. But I can definitely tell you, when I analyze the problems we have in the crisis of the last 2 years, I see the main problems there. If we can solve this, and it's in our hand, it's not the Wall Street people, it's in our hand, then we are much, much better. The experience had shown that at the end of a frustrating, grinding decision process, we usually burn too much money for too little output, we are too slow, we are uncoordinated and inefficient. This happened actually with Siemens. I had with my funds 2 billion in Siemens, 2007, and we decided to look into Siemens and to identify non-core assets with Siemens. Siemens was a sleeping giant, and I was in charge of this with the Siemens family combined, and we identified to sell non-core asset of 27 billion. That had been done. It was the first time the Siemens family ever decided on such a program for the next years. Even in those companies we have problems. These are inherent of bureaucracy and of large organizations. Too much money has been wasted. Much creativity and entrepreneurship blocked. This is for me one of the core problems we face. And we have to fight it, in my opinion, and we have now endless diagnosis, but we need therapies. One example, nobody wants us or set a clear stop signal of all the great European EU commissioners, central bank, etc., that Greece and Spain get over the cliff. But that was for sure. When I talk with specialists, I'm not a specialist in monetary things, it's so crystal clear. I have heard no warnings. So why not? This did not work. But it was clear, if you burrow like a swamp, billions and billions and billions and billions and billions, 100 billion, whatever, for one country, and you have to repay, and you get it for cheap, 2–3%, but then it goes to 7%. You have to pay it back, and the economy is down. You have unemployment of 20, 30, 50% with youth unemployment. Then you're bankrupt. But there was no warning sign at all. We, until now, have no European rating agency. I'm outraged about this. Costs only 300 million. There is no rating agency. I even would, if I would sit in the commission, sue or checks to sue the US 3 rating agencies. I know how they work, we read it how they work, and they did wrong ratings in Europe. Now I hear the only who dares to sue them is the US Attorney General. Why don't we do it? This is something, we don't need more power or more Europe, we just have to use it. We strangulate thus, this, in my opinion, the real future and soul of Europe. We need a steady, radical reforms and concrete, quick actions. And I mean Europe, not only Europe, national as well. And we can learn from small countries like Estonia. I just had a visit yesterday with a company who does e-government. And this is something which is cheap, effective. Why don't we integrate this in the reform process in Greece? So why don't we use this example? I think we need a steady reform process and a better control, of course, of money. And if I look into the discussion of the budget, I was very pleased that Hans-Gert Pöttering was mentioning the agriculture and the support of the young people. If we look that the fundaments of the agriculture subsidiary policy was done in '57, that's a long time ago. We got out of steel, of coal and steel subsidiaries, and my fund had 4.8% in ThyssenKrupp, so we had to learn something about the steel industry. So we got out of it. But agriculture, we're still in. This is something which, when I would talk with Asian, Arab friends about it, they could not understand it. How in this year you still subsidize something which only produced 2% gross national product for the EU. And you burn, I think, 30% of the money. Not burn, but you spend on it. It's necessary, I understand, but you cannot spend €1 twice or 3 times. I think we need an action plan for the future. We have to focus on the young people. We have 50% young unemployment. We have a very good EU youth strategy. We have a good Erasmus program. But I think we need more rational analyzing papers on all kinds of activities, like how we support country by country the growth there. This, in my opinion, is a revival as well. We need a holy flame, and Steve Jobs said in Stanford University, I only was able to do something if I love it. If I see it's not a matter of age, but it's a matter of energy. I am missing more people with energy on the top jobs in the European Union, like David McAllister or some people like this. I think it's about it's about to get other people involved on the action side and on the EU Commission side. And I'm the EU Commission, you see with Oettinger, who is a great commissioner. So we have to find a better, more effective people as well. We need mentoring programs for the young people. We have hundreds of thousands of talented people. We should get them together as well with experienced mentors. And I'm against domination of Germany and France. I think this is one of the big mistakes, that France and Germany are a little like the relationship we have with the United States of America and the European states. It's a big mother and big father, and the small states, in my opinion, should take over responsibilities from now on. Why don't we form a kind of Friends of Greece EU special body, and the Estonians lead this? It's a big mistake of the Chancellery. It's not of the Chancellor, but of 1-2 bureaucrats in the Chancellery, always to deal with Greece. You can only lose, not win. It would be much better and smarter and more Adenauer-like to ask the Estonians, who did it well, to teach in a family the other child to improve. Thank you very much.